Hey guys, happy Halloween. Welcome back to another book unboxing video. We have Junior Library Guild's October books. I really need to get these processed and cataloged like today. They've just been sitting on my desk for like a week because I've been out of the building for a while. Anyway, so I need to get these done today. So let's see what we've got in our box. As always, I at some point approved these books. They were selected for me and I can switch them out anytime that I want. But I like to preview them just to know like what type of reader I would recommend this book to, just so I know kind of, what the plot is. But I have heard of this one. In fact, I've seen this one all over the internet. I feed her to the beast and the beast is me. I believe it's horror. Yeah, it says the tagline on the back is there will be blood. So yeah. Oh, a cutthroat competition and eldritch horrors of both the human and monstrous kind collide headfirst in this gloriously haunting and darkly thrilling novel. Ooh, I don't know what this is about, but young adult horror just is kind of notoriously not scary. So maybe this one could actually be. It says, soon I'd be a name no one would forget, a raging fire they couldn't escape. Lori, I think so, maybe is how it's pronounced, has always danced in the cutthroat world of ballet at a disadvantage. Tired of being overlooked, she ventures deep into the Paris catacombs, where she finds a pulsing blood river that offers her everything she's dreamed of and worked toward, power and awe. Good morning. With it, she takes her place above her peers, but soon she cannot distinguish her own lust for more with the primordial presence in her veins. Lori quickly learns she's not the only monster around, and her vicious desires put a target on her back. As she descends into godhood in the mystifying underworld below, she is faced with the ultimate choice: continue to break herself for a world that doesn't love her back, or succumb to the darkness that wants her exactly as she is, monstrous heart and all. That is, if the god killer doesn't catch her first. Descends into godhood? What? Primordial presence? But then it's also about ballet? I don't know. This book seems kind of all over the place. So I'll look up reviews and see if it's any good. But it definitely sounds interesting. Unique, I suppose. I think the next one's also horror, or maybe it's mystery. Kate Alice Marshall, I know, wrote, These Fleeting Shadows, and maybe some other young adult mystery thrillers. This one's called The Narrow. I think I've heard a little bit about people talking about it on BookTube. It says, they say what the river takes never returns. They are wrong. Whatever you do, don't let the water in. So it says it's nightmarish, chilling, but it's also got suspense. So I'm guessing it's gonna be horror. It says everyone, which is interesting because of course Halloween is like today. And now not as many people are gonna want horror books. I mean, they still are, but spooky season will be over. So it says everyone has heard the story of the Narrow, and that's capitalized. The river that runs behind the Atwood School and is only a few feet across and seemingly placid, but beneath the surface, the waters are deep and vicious. It's said that no one who has fallen in has ever survived. Eden White knows this isn't true. 6 years ago, she saw Delphine Fournier fall into the Narrow and live. Delphine now lives in careful isolation, sealed off from the world. Even a simple drop of unpurified water could be deadly to her, and no one but Eden has any idea why. Eden hasn't told anyone what she saw and hasn't spoken to Delphine since, but now, unable to cover her tuition, she has to make a deal. Her expenses will be paid in return for serving as a living companion to Delphine. Eden finds herself drawn to the strange and mysterious girl, and the two of them begin to unravel each other's secrets. Then Eden discovers what happened to the last girl who lived with Delphine. She was found half drowned on dry land. Interesting. Suddenly, Eden is waking up to wet footprints tracking to the end of her bed, the sound of rain on the windows when the skies are clear, and a ghostly silhouette in her doorway. Something is haunting Delphine, and now it's coming for Eden too. I guess it sounds okay, but I think I'd probably have to read some reviews. I've been wanting to read a Kate Alice Marshall book though, but I really wanted to read these Fleeting Shadows because I think it was kind of like dark academia maybe. But I don't know. It sounds like something I could definitely recommend to students. Next is a book it looks like I've never seen before. Into the Bright Open, a Secret Garden remix by Sherry Demeline. Interesting. It's one of these remixed classics. So I have Self-Made Boys. I have My Dear Henry. I don't think I have the other ones, but yeah, they take classics and then, remix them. It's also really short. I don't know how many students still care about the Secret Garden movie, or story, but who knows. So it says Georgian Bay, 1901. When a terrible accident leaves her orphaned at 15, Mary Craven is sent to the wilderness of the Georgian Bay to live with an uncle she's never met. At first, the impassive, calculating girl believes this new manor will be just like the one she left in Toronto, cold, isolated, and anything but careful, where employees are treated as staff and never like family. But as she slowly allows her heart to open, like the first blooms of spring, Mary comes to find that this strange place and its strange people, most of whom are indigenous, may be where she can finally call home. Then one night, Mary discovers Olive, her cousin, who has been hidden away in the attic room for years due to a, quote, nervous condition. The girls become fast friends, and Mary wonders why this big-hearted girl is being kept out of sight and fed medicine that only makes her feel sicker. That sounds like the yellow wallpaper is what that reminds me of, the short story. When Olive's domineering stepmother returns to the manor, it soon becomes clear that something sinister is going on. With the help of a charming, vivacious métis girl named Sophie, Mary begins looking for a way to free Olive. And some of the answers may lie within the walls of a hidden, overgrown, and long-forgotten garden the girls stumble upon while wandering the wilds. See, I don't remember the story of the secret garden. So I don't know how similar that is to the original. Is there somebody that like lives in the attic or something in the original that's hidden away? I honestly don't remember the plot of The Secret Garden. I remember seeing the movie like as a kid. But anyway, Into the Bride Open, I guess we can look at reviews and see if it's any good. I've not heard anything really about these other retellings. What Souls Are Made Of is a Wuthering Heights retelling. Self-Made Boys, which I know we do have in the library, is a Great Gatsby retelling. My Dear Henry is a Jekyll and Hyde retelling, which we do have in the library. I think it's maybe been checked out once or twice. And then what's that say? Teach the Torches to Burn, a Romeo and Juliet remix, but it looks like it's a male-male romance. So who knows what this is actually, how similar it is to the actual story. What in the heck is this? Do you see this title? Yaqui Delgado wants to kick your butt. Okay. All right. The graphic novel. Oh, it's a graphic novel. It says based on the Pura Belpré Award, which I've heard of, winning novel by Meg Medina, but this is the, I don't know that I have the actual book of this. I feel like I definitely would recognize this title. Okay, well, it's obviously a graphic novel, which students, love, but I have a feeling what students really like when they want graphic novels is they really want manga. So these don't get checked out as often. But in my new library, I'm thinking about having like a manga section and a graphic novel section, like two in the same area, but maybe like on different shelves, just so that students can find exactly what they want. It says at the beginning of sophomore year, and Pity Sanchez is having a hard time adjusting to her new school. Things don't get easier when Pity learns that Yaqui Delgado hates her and wants to kick her butt. Pity doesn't even know who Yaqui is, never mind what she's done to piss her off. But rumor has it that Yaqui thinks Pity is stuck up, shakes her stuff when she walks, and isn't Latina enough. And Yaqui isn't kidding around, so Pity better watch her back. At first, Pity is more, I hate that name, like Piddy, I don't know why, that just really annoys me, is more concerned with learning about the father she's never met, navigating her rocky relationship with her mom, and staying in touch with her best friend, Mitzi. But when the harassment escalates, avoiding Yaqui and her gang takes over Pity's life. Is there a way for Pity to survive without closing herself off from those who care about her or running away? And it says it's adapted from Meg Medina's award-winning novel, and this is a boldly illustrated graphic novel about learning what you stand for and when to take a stand. So, I mean, I think the title will definitely get it checked out, but it just sounds like it's, an essential novel, it says on the back, about teen bullying, gritty and complicatingly true. So all my students that really like realistic fiction, I will definitely recommend this one to them. And then finally, it looks like a book I've never seen before. Goddess Crown by Shade Lapete. Is that the real name? That's a cool name. Girl Rebel Queen. I've never seen this cover. Have you ever seen this book before? Never heard of this author. It's blurbed on the back by Danielle Clayton, who I think wrote Legendborn, right? I'm pretty sure. So let's see what it's about. I'm going to assume it's fantasy because it looks fantasy. It says Colothia has grown up in the shadows of her kingdom, hidden away from her parents, where they were ousted as enemies by the king. Raised in a forest ideal by a few kindly caretakers, Colothia has no first-hand knowledge of the outside world. But when assassins attack her home on her 16th birthday, she must flee. Her journey takes her to the king's court, a beautiful but lethal nest of poison, plots, and danger. Guided by the goddess, can Colothia navigate this most worldly of places to find her own role and her one true love? This first book, okay, so it's gonna be a series set in the kingdom of Gala, offers adventure, intrigue, and romance to those who dare enter its lush, dangerous world. I mean, it kind of reminds me, just the vibe I get for some reason sort of reminds me of what's it called? Raybearer by Jordan Fueko, which I absolutely loved that book. So if I look it up and it has anything remotely like similar reviews, because I mean, Raybearer had just the best world building. It was like an African inspired fantasy novel as well. But this one, I mean, I'm intrigued. It is another fantasy romance though, but at least it does have some adventure. But honestly, we are pretty heavily saturated with fantasy romance, young adult novels, it seems like lately. And I do have a lot of male students who want fantasy books with no romance in it. So this is just, but we've got another fantasy romance. So anyway, there we go. So out of the 5 that we got this time, I'm not super like excited to read any of them. There's not one calling out to me this time, but I'd say probably I Feed Her to the Beast is the one I'm most intrigued by, and the one that I will be reading more into just to decide if I should put it on my TBR. But I'm definitely not taking any of them home this time. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below if you've read any of these, if you've even heard of any of these. I feel like these are the only 2 I think I've heard of before. So anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.